Time often becomes our greatest teacher, but our most relentless thief. You can let it control you, or you can use it to your advantage. And this year we have 2 weeks to make the most of it. 2 weeks on the road, away from the noise, away from the routine, a chance to slow down, to learn, and to create memories that time cannot steal. Because sometimes it's not about how much time you have, but what you choose to do with it. My dad and I have long dreamed of a trip out west, a real challenge with rugged trails and the most rewarding scenery. We finally set aside the time, and after months of preparation, we chose the Colorado Rockies in peak fall color as a perfect place to push ourselves. We knew it wouldn't be easy, but that's exactly what we wanted. And just like that, we were here, waking up right next to Pikes Peak after 2 very long days on the road. It's everything we hoped for: quiet, cold, and real. It's been years since my family and I were last out in Colorado. One of the first trips I can really remember was out here hiking and seeing the mountains for the first time. And that trip really stuck with me, and that's ultimately what planted the seed for this one. As I got more into the outdoor and overlanding space, this area of the country was always begging me to return back to, in order to see what else it had to offer. I don't think my father and I were truly ready for this one, but that was the whole point. We have been constantly looking for a chance to grow and to take on something bigger. We have a lot to learn, and quite honestly, I had some fears I knew I needed to face.
This morning we decided to kind of take a chill morning, take it easy. We slept in a little bit because we're trying to catch up on sleep from the last 2 days of driving, because it has been 2 long days of driving. But we are finally here. It is absolutely beautiful weather, and man, the views are just insane. I'm not used to this, obviously, in PA. Like I mentioned before, I was out here at one time many years ago, but man, it is so good to be back. I love this place. As far as the plan goes, we made it to Colorado Springs last night and went up into the mountains to camp. And we're actually making our way a little bit north and doing some camping up there before coming back down to Crested Butte and San Juan area. But today we're just gonna kind of drive through this range a little bit, maybe drive maybe an hour or two north, and find our spot for tonight.
Since this was our first time going this far and for this long, my dad picked up a total Tacoma a few months before the trip. He brought it back to life and built it into what it is now, a solid rig in case something goes sideways. This trip will truly put it to the test and help him learn the vehicle. And as usual, the FJ was the go-to for this one. It has been my favorite way to travel for years. It's reliable, capable, and has just enough space to pack everything I need. It's not flashy, but with 33s and upgraded suspension, it handles the trail like a champ.
Man, it's awesome.
We do some of this kind of stuff uphill. Might be ready for more air down.
Yeah, we can stop whenever. I know we were, this is a gulch, so we were going down to the bottom.
Yeah, no, I'm good for now, for sure.
Like this ever get old for like people who live here?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, but it would have to be short than a foot.
Yeah, I super excited to hit this trail. It looked like some cool things and some shelf roads, which I'm probably gonna hate at first, but I'm probably gonna come to love it. So let's just get started.
After getting warmed up on dirt and covering some miles, we finally reached our first checkpoint, Geneva City, an abandoned mining town tucked high in the Rockies, sitting just shy of 12,000 feet. I had a gut feeling that this trail would be a good introduction to the mountains. And from what I heard, this trail isn't overly technical, but it does have a few shelf sections. And I never really admit it, but heights have always gotten to me, just enough to matter. And I knew putting myself in these situations was the only way I would ever grow.
So gigantic.
The colors here are not what I expected. Growing up in the Northeast, I'm used to fiery reds and bright oranges filling the forests every fall. But out here, it's different. And honestly, I think I could get used to it. The alpine tundra was way more vibrant than I ever imagined, bursting with scattered pockets of color that made the whole landscape feel very surreal.
Lost for words for this trail. Insane. When you get to the top, you get a view like you saw, and it is incredible. The fall colors are coming out up here, and it is insane. The trail actually wasn't that bad. I thought it would be more shelfy. It's not that bad. There's a few shelf spots that are a little bit tight, but other than that, it is just an amazing trail. We're gonna just hang out up here for a little bit more, and then we're gonna head back down, find a camp spot, go down a little bit in elevation. But man, I could just sit here all day and look at all of this. It's incredible.
That's pretty large.
Yeah, I would say. Man, didn't even get to see one that big in Maine. I think it's just sitting there. We just rolled into camp, into this camp spot down in the valley, and I think we're just gonna take it a little bit of a chill night, make some food, hang out, because man, that altitude, I was running around a little bit too much today with these cameras, and I think it's hitting me a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of chill out for the rest of the night and just kind of enjoy the scenery around us. That was Such a fun trail. Honestly, I think that's one of my favorite spots I've ever been. And I got a little taste of shelf roads. They weren't that bad, but they're pretty steep and shelfy. But I'm excited for more tomorrow because I think there's gonna be more tomorrow. But I'm gonna eat some food and head to bed.
You wouldn't be able to tell by the calmness of the morning, but we probably experienced the windiest night of our lives as gusts rushed through the valley and drug in the cold. Regardless, we were slowly catching up on sleep, and I felt back to normal.
It is about 10:45 right now. We just got off the trail. I just finished airing up and we were about to hit the road, and we're going to do Argentine Pass today, which I am super excited about. We're gonna do the whole pass, then come back down and camp somewhere. And so I'm super excited to get that done and just see the views that it has to offer.
As we made our way to Argentine Pass, we stopped at Guanella Pass to take in the scenery that seemed to be fall. Somehow, we'd nailed the timing. The colors were unreal, and by now we were getting into a rhythm, more confident in the rigs and ready to take on the next challenge. Argentine Pass holds some of the most unexpected and fascinating history that we came across. The trail in once led to a town called Waldorf, which was the highest town with a post office. It was alive and bustling in the 1860s after silver was discovered in the area. Back then, the trail served as a toll road, connecting Georgetown to other towns across the Continental Divide. To this day, it still stands as the highest drivable mountain pass over the divide. And as we rolled up to the base of the switchbacks, the nerves started to hit. The real climb was just beginning. It's times like these that make you question what this fear is based in. Is it lack of confidence in my own driving, or the fear of the unknown number of what ifs? It's funny how fear can make you believe things that may not be true. It can grip you and push you to inaction. And the only information that we have on this trail is from what we've been witnessing ahead of us in the distance. A Jeep and some four-wheelers seeming to have trouble with a cambered, rocky obstacle. Beyond that is a very steep climb with tight switchbacks and narrow roads. The view from the bottom was incredible, and we could not wait to get to the top.
If there's one thing I'm very uncomfortable with and hate, that is heights, and that is exactly what we're doing today. Going. All right, now straighten. Now you're on. All right, pause. I think that was just your frame. I don't know if I see. Oh, I do see it. Yeah.
So it's either ride further up the hill and more camber, or ride closer to the edge and less camber.
I have been choosing close to the edge.
I think that's actually the smarter move. So was that guy in the CJ saying that it kept popping out at 4 low?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Huh. Well, that makes sense though. That's what it seemed like. It was really weird.
Accomplishing something as small as this is a good reminder that there's usually a big difference in the story that you tell yourself in anticipation and the actual reality after the fact. While the steepness was worse than I thought, there was nothing to fear as my dad and I finally got to experience some shelf roads and had a blast enjoying scenery that is very different from what we are used to.
We just made it to the top of Argentine Pass and we're about to go down. It is absolutely beautiful up here. I did not film much coming up. Not gonna lie, I wanted to focus on driving and not filming for this one. It's a little sketchy than I thought, but it's good practice for me. We're gonna go down and find a campsite maybe 2,000 feet down in elevation, somewhere in there. But man, it is incredible. You can see so much. And man, it was a journey getting up here and it'd be a journey going down, but it's fun either way, man.
Even with the Tacoma on 33s, it ended up scraping a little bit on the way down as this section was very washed out and seemed to be degrading fast.
Alright, you're gonna feel your hitch. Alright, you're good. Alright.
Now today was a little bit different. We were trading in the mountain climbs to head into the city to pick up my girlfriend Sara, as I wanted to show her a part of the States that she hasn't seen. She loves the outdoors just as much as I do, and she'll get to experience how my dad and I travel. She'll be with us for 3 days as she gets to be part of the journey and camp out in the areas between Leadville and Denver.
We look to the mountains. We don't care if it's only a dream. Nothing is really what it seems anyway. Now little by little, in the twilight's gentle flow, in the dance of fading light we grow. And all the warning, when you wanna be loved by everyone, you get fooled by anyone so easily. You say you're tired.
In order to make the most of our time in Colorado, we drove all the way down to an area called Twin Lakes, which is the southernmost part of the journey that Sara will be with us on as we slowly work back towards Denver over the coming days. This area was packed with campers upon our arrival, and we could clearly see why. Fall was in full swing here, and the viewpoints were nothing short of incredible.
crazy campsite. There's a lot of people here though, but we had an amazing evening, got a lot of sleep, and today we're gonna do Leadville Southeast and Mosquito Pass. I'm so excited to do that. That's gonna take us over the mountain to our next campsite. I've heard great things about these areas, and I think it's gonna be absolutely beautiful, just considering that we're pretty close by and the scenery is amazing. So I think we're all packed up and ready to go. We're gonna hit the road right now.
Today we are exploring Leadville Southeast, a trail known for its steep climbs and panoramic views. Besides that, we are going in blind with the excitement of being in the middle of nowhere and taking in the crisp fall weather. We've been on the road for almost a week now, and this is the point in the trip where things start to settle in. The distractions are gone, and time slows down.
Man, I much prefer this over the boulder climbing in the rocks.
Funny you say that. I was just thinking that. It's like so much nicer not having rocks, and yet it's kind of technical.
Yeah, because you still have to like be careful where you go. We don't have to like constantly watch rocks, which is really nice.
Man, I was starting to spin there for a little. Locker would have been really helpful there.
Yeah, I'll just pick up the next section. With this too, I think I'm just gonna go for it.
Alright, cool.
Man, this is steep.
That's enough. It shifts into second gear.
Holy cow.
Made it to another stop here. We're eating lunch on the Leadville Southeast Pass, and I think we're gonna skip Mosquito Pass. This has been absolutely amazing, absolutely beautiful. It's actually so hard to get it on camera to make it look like it actually does in person, because it just won't. But it is incredible. So we're just eating some lunch. We're just gonna skip though, because we're running out of time. It's almost 2 p.m. and it's gonna take quite a few hours to do the pass and then get to our camp spot for tonight, which I am super excited to get to. It has been such a nice trip so far. I haven't felt very rushed. I feel like I have time to kind of film some things, but also kind of put down the camera when I just want to enjoy some things and enjoy the trails, because these trails are beautiful, whether they're in the forest or up on top of the mountain. It's just incredible.
An evening like this was exactly what we needed. After a full day on the road and trail, we made it Crystal Lake, just over 12,000 feet in elevation. The wind was relentless up here, constant and cold, but the views made it worth it. From this high up, you get a clear look down the valley, and as the light dropped, the whole landscape shifted colors. For Sara, this was her first taste of true backcountry camping like this. Between the wind, the cold, and the elevation, she handled it well. It was cool to see her experience this side of the trip and be part of what my dad and I have been doing all week. But with the cold setting in, we were all extremely anxious to make camp and sit by the fire.
After driving up our camp spot road, we discovered it was very rugged. We had to really take our time getting up, and I didn't end up filming just because, we're running low on time. And we made it to that beautiful alpine lake, as you just saw, beautiful scenery all around. And originally our plan was to camp there, but ultimately we decided to go down to a spot with trees and camp on a spot that's just more covered, so we aren't hit with a lot of winds, because it's going to be a pretty cold night. But yeah, otherwise we're just going to make some dinner and just kind of relax for a little bit in this beautiful scenery.
We came for our high school graduation, and that was
The morning was a slow one. After days of going from one thing to the next, it felt good to just slow down. We slept in a bit, made some breakfast, and took our time packing up camp. For my dad and I, these kinds of mornings are rare. We're usually up early and already focused on the next challenge. But for Sara, this is exactly why she loves the outdoors. The calm, the quiet, and the chance to just ease into the day. It was a welcome change of pace for all of us. With midday setting in, we made the call to leave the peaks behind and drop into the valley, trading altitude for a chance to walk through a piece of Colorado's forgotten history.
Are absolutely unreal. I've never seen anything like this in a creek or like any other body of water. It's insane. The alpine lakes are pretty blue, but not this type of blue. But so far it's just been absolutely stunning everywhere we go, no matter what it is.
This is Peru Creek, an easy trail tucked into the Colorado high country. What looks like just another valley carved by time is actually one of the most historic mining routes in the state. Back in the mid-1800s, Peru Creek was the heart of a silver rush. And the reason the creek had a white or blue tint comes from the heavy metal runoff from the old mines. Prospectors flooded this area chasing veins buried deep within the mountainside. Dozens of mines opened, and temporary towns sprang up overnight. Among the many operations here, the Pennsylvania mine was the largest and most infamous. It was opened in the 1870s and operated for decades, producing not only silver, but also lead and zinc. At its peak, it supported dozens of workers and included multiple shafts, tramways, and processing buildings, many of which are now collapsing, slowly crumbling to the ground. It is quite the reminder that it wasn't always a place people go to for solitude and sightseeing.
Signpost.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah. I think that's what it is. It looks like a...
Oh, that's right, because there was a signpost up there.
Yeah, it's like the back side of it, like the shiny.
Yeah.
In that sort of swale a little bit. Just like a white
Oh, like
spot.
a white, yeah. I see it.
Does it look like almost like a silver sign?
Yeah,
like
it looks
the back
like
of a
white.
sign.
So that's where you guys were.
Yeah.
At the end of the trail, we realized that we actually looked right down into this valley about 3 days prior from Argentine Pass. And looking up at it now gave us a whole new perspective of the amount of elevation that we'd climbed previously.
Well, I'm just trying to get on the side.
Actually, tonight. Oh yeah, we still have. Oh yeah, we're actually close.
This is officially our halfway point on the trip. We have another few days to check some goals off of our bucket list and enjoy Colorado in the peak of fall. Unfortunately though, this camp was Sara's last and we are soon headed back to the airport to get her flight home. I was very thankful that my dad and I were able to show her a new area and let her experience the raw beauty of overland trips. They may not be the most comfortable and flashy as everyone makes them out to be, but they are definitely the most rewarding. From our talks in the FJ and at camp, she seemed to thoroughly enjoy it and would love to come back.
past few days have been great with Sarah. She's been loving the views. She's never been this far west of the Mississippi, and man, the perfect timing too with all the leaves changing colors. But yeah, we're gonna quickly air up, hit the road. So it is gonna be a long travel day, probably around, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours on the road, driving to Denver and then back.
After dropping Sarah off at the airport, we started heading back southwest. Though there was no time for trails, the drive through the mountain passes were incredible. We arrived late into the evening to a location that was highly recommended to me for the incredible views and even better camping. My father and I have come a long way since the beginning of this trip only a week ago. A lot of miles traveled, lessons learned, and quality time spent. At this point, we were impressed with all the sights that we got to see and the memories we made. Being halfway, the one thing that we thought we were missing was rough trails. But we didn't know that we were missing something even more important than that.